Most of us know that physical activity, movement, and exercise can help reduce our risk for heart disease, type 2 diabetes, dementia and other neurodegenerative diseases, depression, and overall risk for premature death. But did you know that physical activity and movement and exercise can reduce your risk of developing many types of cancer? The converse is also true. Sitting time has been correlated with an increased risk of some cancers. Let's look at what the current studies tell us. In the United States, there are 1.8 million new cancer diagnoses with an associated 606,000 deaths. Cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States behind cardiovascular disease, and it has been estimated that up to 60% of cancers are potentially preventable. There is strong evidence that physical activity lowers the risk of the following cancers: breast, colon, particularly strong in men, kidney, endometrial, otherwise known as uterine, bladder, esophageal, liver, and stomach. There is more limited but suggestive data that physical activity can also lower the risk of cancers of the lung, blood system, head and neck, pancreas, and ovary. The magnitude of the risk reduction varied between 10 and 24%. It should be noted that this risk reduction did not depend on weight loss, with the exception of uterine cancer. There are several different types of physical activity, including leisure time activities, which are things such as running, cycling, and swimming, occupational activity, which includes manual labor, household activities such as housework and gardening, active transportation such as bicycling or walking to work, and walking. While the association between physical activity and cancer risk reduction is becoming more clear, the optimal dose remains elusive. The best evidence suggests that consistent, moderate, and when we say moderate, that's brisk walking, to vigorous, such as running, swimming, or cycling at a fast pace, physical activity is most protective. The real key is that we get up and move as much as possible on a consistent, long-term basis. It appears that lifetime physical activity performed daily or at least 3 times per week has the most protective effect. Current recommendations are for moderate exercise 5 days per week for 30 minutes each day. This is a minimum amount of exercise necessary for cancer prevention, so it seems. While exercise can reduce the risk of cancer, there is emerging evidence that supports prolonged sitting time as a risk factor for cancer, and this is not reversed with adequate amounts of leisure time exercise. Prolonged sitting time has been correlated with increased death from all causes, increased cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes, as well as increased risk of some cancers. Several studies have shown that prolonged sitting times increase the risk of endometrial and colorectal cancer by up to 30% and lung cancer by up to 13%. While the exact science of why exercise helps prevent cancer is unknown, there are some clues. Cancer has been hypothesized to be mediated through 3 hormonal systems, including sex steroids such as estrogen, insulin and insulin-like growth factors, and adipokines, which are chemicals released by fat cells which can cause inflammation. Exercise appears to reduce the levels of these pro-growth hormones, thus lowering the risk of developing cancer. Number 2, inflammation has tumor-promoting properties, and exercise has been shown to decrease inflammation. Number 3, immune function is important in keeping cancer cells from growing, and exercise helps boost immune function. Some of you may say, I'm too busy to exercise. If you think you are too busy, look at making physical activity a priority. If you are watching TV every evening, think about substituting this with some physical activity. Learn to incorporate physical activity into your daily routine. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park as far away from buildings as possible, walking that extra distance. Find some friends and go for a walk over the lunch hour. There are many creative ways to incorporate movement into your daily life. Use your imagination. Even small amounts of physical activity on a consistent daily basis can have large benefits over time. Remember, something is better than nothing.